So it's time for us to go ahead and compare the iPhone 12 and see how it compares against the iPhone 12 Pro Max in 2022. Now, if you want to pick up either one of these phones, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there. You can help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, you can definitely tell there's quite a bit of a difference between these two devices for sure. The iPhone 12 on the front has a pretty good size 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED panel. Now, like I said before, this is a very good panel for the most part, and realistically speaking, anything you're ever really going to do on this iPhone, you'll still have a really good time with because the display is still so good. You have the notch up top, which is a little controversial here and there still, it's been so many years, but it's a really good iPhone, and I'm a huge fan of it. With the 12 Pro Max, you have a much bigger 6.7-inch Super Retina XDR OLED panel, and this is a really good sized phone, but it is massive. This is a big phone for sure. There's phones that are much bigger than this, but I will tell you for how big this phone is in this day and age, I just don't see myself using it. But because of its big size, you are getting a bigger size battery. You're also getting a little bit better performance, more RAM over the 12, but it's also a more expensive phone in today's market. So that is probably something you'd probably want to keep in mind at the back of your head. Now, in terms of thinness and thickness, I mean, I'll definitely tell you what's very interesting is these two phones aren't like crazy different in terms of thickness, but if you can kind of see the 12 Pro Max is slightly thicker. I don't know if you can tell, and maybe that's not even truth, but I kind of feel like the 12 Pro Max is a little bit of a thicker phone. Now on the back, we have a little bit of a different setup. So I have a completely cracked back on my 12 Pro Max, but I have glass backs on both. So the 12 has that standard glass back, which still is pretty good. There's not too many complaints here. The 12 Pro Max, on the other hand, has this frosted glass back, which feels really, really good. It also looks really good as well. Like, I really do like this phone, and I think the back of it will pretty much stand the test of time. Unfortunately, for my time, it did crack. Also, the camera cracked quite a bit too. But in terms of the outside, that pretty much covers it up. You know, there's not too many other differences between these two. You're realistically getting a better build phone, I think, on the 12 Pro Max. The phone still feels like a $1,000 phone. Still, like that phone's not feeling old anytime soon. But you can kind of get the idea with the 12 that it is starting to kind of show its age. Not like it's an old phone or outdated phone, but as more and more phones come out, we're starting to see them really take advantage of all the cool little offerings they have in terms of the build quality. It kind of seems like to me the iPhone 12 Pro Max takes way more advantage of that. Now, in terms of the software and longevity between both, realistically speaking, you're getting the same exact long-lasting phone from both of them. So it's not like the 12 Pro Max is going to outlast the 12. That is not the case. You're going to be getting pretty much the same exact software experience from both of these devices. So if the iPhone 12 Pro Max, ends up lasting 5 years, the iPhone 12 will also end up lasting 5 years. So again, I don't want to give the impression that one is going to severely outlast the other one. That is not the case at all. So in terms of that, that kind of covers it up there as well. Now in terms of soft, now in terms of performance, this is where things are also a little bit more interesting. They both have the same exact chipset inside. They both have the Apple A14 Bionic chip inside of it, but there's a little bit of a difference with the RAM. The iPhone 12 has 4 gigabytes of RAM. The iPhone 12 Pro Max has 6 gigabytes of RAM. So do keep that in mind. But let's just go and see which one is the faster one right now. Okay, there we go. Let's go and clear the apps in the background. As you can see, they're all cleared out. So let's get into it. Phone calls 3, 2, 1. Okay, about the same thing. Let's go and get into music 3, 2, 1. And we can see two different types of things between both because we had a different pop-up on the 12 Pro Max. Let's go and do mail 3, 2, 1. I think 12 Pro Max was slightly faster. Let's do their app stores 3, 2, 1. And kind of the same thing, not really that big of a difference here. Scrolling through, there's not 120 Hz or anything, but they're still very smooth panels for sure. Hopping out of this one, let's go and get into photos 3, 2, 1. Okay, about the same exact thing here too. Let's do camera 3, 2, 1. Okay, about the same thing. Let's go and take a photo. I think the 12 Pro Max took it a little bit faster, and even getting into the photo was slightly faster on the 12 Pro Max. Getting out of this one, let's go and open up something like their clocks 3, 2, 1. I think the 12 Pro Max again was a faster one there, and we do have some more applications we can go and test out. Nothing crazy though. We can try Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And I don't know why we had so many different pop-ups. We can see the 12 Pro Max does get into it a little bit faster than the iPhone 12. Again, I don't think it's like a groundbreaking difference here, but it is one of those things you should kind of keep in the back of your head that you will probably end up getting a little bit of a faster phone here and there from the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Now getting into here, let's go and play a little bit of this game and see if there's a difference as well, which like I mentioned, I don't think there's going to be a difference at all. And you can see it's kind of the same thing. Hopping out of this one, we can get into their Files app 3, 2, 1. Okay, that one kind of covers it up here. Getting out of this one, let's go and get into something like Shortcuts 3, 2, 1. the 12 Pro Max was the faster one. Let's do home, which I do not have. Let's go and try something like contacts, 3, 2, 1. Okay, pretty much the same thing. Let's try stocks, which I think is on my main page here. No, it is not. Let's try some of these applications, calculator, 3, 2, 1. I think even the 12 Pro Max was faster there. And 2 different pop-ups here as well, so. In my opinion, I kind of don't think there's like a clear, I think the 12 Pro Max is the faster one, but the iPhone 12 was still so very close to it that it didn't really make that big of a difference if I'm being honest. You could have mistaken one for the other one, but I think every single time the 12 Pro Max was almost the faster one, so that kind of covers it up here. Now in terms of the camera setup, this is something that I talked about earlier as well. They're both almost the same exact sensors, but you're getting more sensors on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. So this is something that's very important to remember. The 12 Pro Max is going to be giving you a much better type of styling of the camera than the iPhone 12. So they both have wide and ultra-wide sensors, but the 12 Pro Max has that additional telephoto lens, which is really cool to have. Now with the iPhone 12, this thing and the 12 Pro Max can do 4K at 60 on both the back and the front, which is really cool to see. And personally, I think the iPhone 12's camera is still very good. It is not a bad camera. It is not a bad camera by any means. And if we were just to say the 12 Pro Max camera for the basis of this video was a 10 out of 10, this camera is like an 8.5 or 9 out of 10. It's pretty much missing out on not that much compared to the 12 Pro Max, besides that telephoto lens. That telephoto lens is really nice to have. Fortunately, the iPhone 12 doesn't have it. But you still have things like video mode, you still have portrait mode, you still have the panoramic mode. Like this is still a very capable quality camera that I'm still a huge fan of. Now, like I said, it's not perfect, but it's still good enough, I think, for pretty much everyone's tasks that they're going to do on an everyday basis. Now, with something like the 12 Pro Max, like I mentioned, this is probably the better camera here, by every single dimension. It's a very solid camera with a ton of capability for sure. Now, it does have that additional telephoto lens, which is really nice to have, and I like having a telephoto lens. I like having the ability of zooming in a ton into a photo, and I also like the ability of zooming out of a photo a lot too. So having that capability of zooming in and out is really important, and this is one of those cases as well. Now, video modes, standard the same thing as before, portrait mode, panoramic mode, all that good stuff. This is still a very good camera that I'm still, like I said before, a massive fan of as well. Now to kind of sum up this video, if I'm being honest, I think the 12 Pro Max by far is the better phone here. This is the phone that if you can find it for a good price, by all means pick it up. I'd probably recommend waiting for the iPhone 14s, but this is still a phone that's going to be here for quite a bit of time, and this is a no-brainer in my opinion. If you have the money, I would recommend buying a 13 Pro Max, but between these two, the 12 Pro Max is definitely a really good upgrade. But I think the iPhone 12, for its availability, like you can just go into the Apple Store and buy this phone right now. It's still a very good phone. There's not really too much to hate on it besides the lack of telephoto lens. That's a smaller battery than the 12 Pro Max, and maybe the build quality and display aren't as great as the 12 Pro Max either, but this is still a phone that's going to be here for quite a bit of time. I will say though, I've been having really good performance for the most part on iOS 16, but also been having really decent battery life on my iPhone 12 as well. In fact, I did do a battery test last year, and I did see that the 12 Pro Max didn't perform as well as my 12 mini, and I have no idea why that happened, but I think things have changed since that was on iOS 15 as well. But now I will tell you, the 12 Pro Max is the better one, but the iPhone 12 is still a very good option too. So in terms of that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video.